if you're wondering what I mean by that, I'm currently unemployed. Unemployed, hashtag unemployed. I don't feel sane or in the right mind state, and I think that's how this channel was birthed, okay? Was me being on antibiotics. It's just hard to unsee, you know, it's hard to unwire your brain, my brain. It's hard to rewire my brain to think that she's... All right, I'm just gonna start recording, guys, because I've been trying to set this up for the past hour because I wanted to use this microphone, but I tried plugging it into every device that I own and it doesn't do anything. So before I give up on even wanting to talk to you guys, I'm just gonna record as if the mic was working. So we're gonna just pretend it works because it makes me comfortable to hold microphones. I don't know if I've said that to you guys before, but it does, okay? It does. I feel much more comfortable with a microphone in my hand. I don't know why. It's a psychological thing. If you want to analyze me psychologically, go right ahead, but you'll never figure me out. Thank you. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk, and that's the end of it. Oh, wait. I was gonna put a shirt on Garfield. Please hold. Yeah, so anyways. Oh, it's backwards. Why is it backwards? Is my shirt backwards too? I'm a little rusty, like right now, I'm a little rusty. It's been a while. And sorry guys, so cheers. Not sponsored, but maybe I should be, because this is all I drink is Dr. Pepper now. I went from drinking no soda ever to drinking only Dr. Pepper all the time. So cheers first, and then let's get the show on the road. Hi guys, welcome to Unhinged O'Clock. I know it's been a very long time since I've filmed or posted anything, and I will get right into that, hopefully. At least that's the goal. I'm sorry. I know you guys have been waiting all year for this, but I'm back, baby. I'm back, okay? I hope you missed me, because I missed you a lot. But so much has happened in the past year, and I really hope I get to talking about it. That's the goal, but you know how I am. It might take a while to get there, but we're gonna get there. The moral of the story is it might take a long time to get there, but we're gonna get there, okay? So buckle your seatbelts, because this is going to be a very long story, and it's going to be filled with a lot of explanations about why I've been gone for so long. But I'm back, I promise. I'm trying to be back regularly. It's already been 4 minutes, and I don't think I said anything very exciting or anything, so I don't know where to start. Where do I even start? Let's try again from the beginning, okay? Welcome to Unhinged O'Clock 4.0, 4.20. Anyways, I just want to give a disclaimer, and the disclaimer is, I know I've been gone for a very long time, almost a year, and I will tell you all about it. It's been a very long year, and it's been a lot of things happened last year, okay? But it's 2026 now, and I think I only posted like 3 videos last year. If you haven't been keeping up, you might want to check out my last video that I posted 10 months ago, because I'm going to continue off of that story. I will try to post a photo of what that video looks like. It's my last video that I posted, and I am wearing the shirt that Garfield's wearing right now in that video, so I hope that makes it easier. But yeah, so if you didn't watch that video, and if you don't want to watch that video, I will just tell you, please ignore my cat's foot in the air right now. So in that video, I was talking about how my job filed for bankruptcy, or the company I worked for filed for bankruptcy, okay? And that was exactly a year ago, because it is March, and that's when I actually filmed that video. I filmed it the day I found out, and so much has happened. Oh my god, this Dr. Pepper's gonna make me burp. I'm sorry, excuse me, please excuse me. But anyways, my job filed for bankruptcy. I filmed that video that I last posted on the day I found out, and so much has happened since then. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, I felt like I lived like 17 different lifetimes in the past year since that happened. And it's kind of like the main reason why I disappeared for so long, because I just had so much going on that I just couldn't handle doing what I was doing and then like filming and editing videos on top of it. So I kind of just like focused completely on my job and gave up on this channel. But I'm not gonna give up on you guys again, I promise. I really don't want to, because this is like this brought me so much happiness, okay? You know, I'm not gonna lie, like I feel like it was very therapeutic, and feel like filming videos, and I felt like I was actually doing something rewarding with my life, even though I don't really know if anybody watched my videos, but I don't know, it felt fun. It felt fun, okay? I had fun doing it, talking to myself. The point is, I really did miss doing this, and it was too much, guys. Editing videos is just too much, and I'm not gonna get into that because that's, I feel like, all I ever talked about. But yeah, so I guess I was like making predictions in that video about like what I thought was gonna happen, and I think all my predictions kind of came true in a way. I'm not gonna lie, like I kind of thought a lot of things that were gonna happen, and they happened. So if you're wondering what I mean by that, I'm currently unemployed. Unemployed, hashtag unemployed. So that's why I have a lot of free time, and that's why I'm gonna do this again for you guys, okay? So before I find another job, I'm gonna try and bang out as many videos as possible. That's the goal. So a little encouragement would help, but that's the goal. I'm gonna try my best to do that, okay? So anyways, ow, my nail, ow, that hurt really bad. Ow, 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 ow. Ow. So once I found out about the bankruptcy case or whatever, it was very uncertain whether my job was going to stay open or not, and I didn't think we were, but we did. But we were going to close, okay? And that was detrimental to our entire store, finding that news out, okay? I was still a bartender at the time. I was like partially managing. That was a shift supervisor, so I really only had like one managing shift a week or whatever, but I was bartending. And the day our store was supposed to close, my manager told me that we were going to close, and that, you know, he wasn't allowed to tell us ahead of time. But then like last minute, the company that bought us, I think, or I'm not really sure who, but somebody saved us from being closed, and we no longer were going to close. But that's kind of like an unprecedented thing that happens. Like, I don't think that many people ever have to go through that, where your store is like or your restaurant is going to close, but then they don't end up closing. That was really bad on whoever told us that we were going to close or whatever, and then took it back, because it shifted like the entire mentality of the entire staff, including the managers. So because of that, we ended up losing our GM and the manager who I was really close to, who told me the news. So we lost two managers, and I guess the month before, one of our other managers got fired. So we were only left with one manager, guys, okay? We had one manager. And she let's just say, this is the only thing I'm going to say, is that she went on vacation a lot. Maybe like about once a month. Love her to death, but that's what she did, okay? And no shade, but it was hard. That was a very difficult time, because not having any managers at all, and then having all these like visiting managers from other stores, it's kind of like having substitute teachers who kind of don't really care about your store because it's not theirs, and then who the employees don't really take seriously because they're not really your manager, you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't good. It was hard. And so on top of losing our GM, a manager, and then we actually had another shift supervisor who we lost to at the same time. Then a bunch of our staff quit. So we basically had no staff running this restaurant, okay? You know, I'll be honest, I loved bartending. Bartending was like, what's the word? It was like fulfilling, okay? I thought it was fulfilling. I liked doing it, you know. I became really close to the regulars, you know. I worked the days I wanted. I only worked like 28 hours a week, maybe. I don't know. I worked very minimal. I went there, I did my job, I made my money, and then I left and didn't have to think about it. And then that's kind of why, sorry, Dr. Pepper, Dr. Pepper's creeping up. I'm gonna continue talking to the microphone. I don't know why, I'm just ignore it. I don't know, bartending was fulfilling to me life-wise, okay? I was able to, you know, live my life and have fun and make money, you know? What's better than that? And that's why, like, I had all this free time to make this channel and do things that I wanted to do. You know, I was trying to start a business where I was trying to sell lamps or whatever. That's kind of, you know, I'll get into that another time, but I have a lot of, like, business ideas, okay? Let's just say that. And I had a lot of free time, so I was working on a lot of things when I was bartending. But since all this happened at my job, you know, I kind of felt like sort of this responsibility for the restaurant and for the staff that I had to step up and take more managing shifts, or, you know, even try to be an assistant manager there, you know, like a real manager. But that was like really hard for me to decide, because I really did enjoy bartending. It was a very big transitional period for me when I was really stepping up in the management part of my job. At first I started taking on more shift supervising shifts or whatever. Maybe I would have like 1 or 2 bartending shifts here and there or whatever. Once we started hiring a bunch of new staff members, I felt like I had to just be a manager, because it's kind of hard to see a manager also be a bartender. It's hard to, from my perspective, I feel like it would be harder to take them seriously, I guess, in a way. So I felt like the need to just be a manager, and that's how these people would know me, you know. They convinced me a little bit. That's the upper management. I met a lot of higher ups throughout the year, and I think they all liked me. I don't know, maybe they didn't, who knows, but I would like to think they did. I'm gonna put the microphone down, guys. I'm sorry. So yeah, I ended up taking up much more managing shifts, and then like once I did that, I kind of told them, like, I was like, hey, you know, like, I'll be an assistant manager or whatever. So like the whole goal was for me to do that. Once I started taking all these supervising shifts, I kind of felt like I was already like an assistant manager there, because I was kind of basically doing everything that an assistant manager would do, because it was basically just me and the other one manager that we had running the whole show for about, I think, 6 months. We did that, just the 2 of us. It was incredibly difficult for me personally. She's been there for a very long time, so she already kind of like knew what she was doing. But I didn't really have formal training. I think I only had 3 days of training to be a shift supervisor. So to be doing all the things that I was doing at the time, like I taught myself how to do everything. Like I started writing the schedule, which was a big reason why I never had any free time, because it got to a point where I was doing the schedule for about like 30 people, maybe more. I was doing the whole front of house schedule, which it's a lot of work, okay? Because, you know, if somebody takes off, then you have to fill in that spot, and then you have to fill in the spot of the person that you put in there, and then everyone's schedule changes when they go to school, and then they have other jobs, and then they have kids, and then this and that, and then, you know, it's like chess on steroids, writing a schedule for 30 people or whatever. It was a lot of work, and I ended up doing a lot of that at home, because it was just like impossible. It's impossible to write the schedule while you're at work, okay? As a manager of a restaurant, if there's no other managers on duty and you're the only one, there's people pulling you in all sorts of directions all day long. It's like a constant, like, never-ending cycle of people needing things from you, and it's just, it gets overwhelming, first of all, and it's even more overwhelming for somebody who's like literally learning as they go. You know, I learned everything as I went, and I didn't really have much guidance at all, to be honest. I kind of like made good connections with the people the visiting managers that were coming to in and out of our store in the beginning, and I called them a lot for guidance and to vent a lot. But yeah, it's not even the fact that I was just teaching myself everything and learning everything, and you know, like I was also going through a huge transitional period in my own life where, you know, I was, you know, kind of like mourning like my life as a bartender. I don't even remember the last day I was actually on like the schedule as a bartender. It must have been almost a year ago, I think, at this point, but it just was like less and less shifts as a bartender as time went on, and until like I just didn't have any more shifts, and the new people we were hiring only knew me as a manager, which I kind of like that, to be honest, because I feel like it's not that the other staff, like the old staff that I worked with, like didn't respect me, because they really did, honestly. They all were very supportive. You know, I had their backs, they had my back. It was actually really good. But like I feel like the new people that we hired after I was like completely a manager, like I feel like they respected me in a different way. I don't know how to explain it. It took a really long time for us to get to a good place because there was just no structure for a very long time, which was a big part of the problem as to why it was hard to keep anybody, I guess. I don't know. There was no structure for a while, okay? Like while I was bartending, there wasn't really much of a structure for a while. It just became worse when we lost all of our managers. And then this new company that took over was trying to change like almost everything about our restaurant and like the standards and everything, which there's nothing wrong with that, but it was just so much change at once. So, you know, I'm learning new things each and every moment, and like no one's answering my questions, and then, you know, the staff is asking me questions, but I don't have answers because nobody's answering my questions. And that was just like a daily occurrence, okay? That happened quite a lot. You know, it's like I wanted answers. I asked a lot of questions, but nobody really knew the answers, and it was just hard, okay? Please hold. But yeah, it took a really long time for us to get like another manager in there. I think I said like 6 months about, like me and the other manager, we were doing it alone. And then we finally got another manager who did stuff, you know, he was, but yeah, let's just skip over that. So yeah, I guess it was a little easier once that happened. And also, that's a whole nother tangent. I don't want to get into that, okay? Like, there was another manager. Okay, I guess I'll get into it. So there was a manager that I had as a bartender years ago. She got a real big girl job, okay? And then she came back a year, 2 years ago maybe, to serve, only to serve. She just wanted to come back for extra money, okay? So she went from being a manager, my manager, to being a server, which was a very weird dynamic for me for a while because, you know, I was a shift supervisor, so I was like above her because she was a server, but she always felt above me, okay? She always will feel above me because she was my manager. It's just hard to unsee, you know, it's hard to unwire your brain, my brain. It's hard to rewire my brain to think that she's just a server, you know what I mean? Whatever. So she stepped up to be a shift supervisor like towards the end of the summer, which greatly helped us a lot. She brought a lot of organization to what we didn't have organized, okay? And it was great. It helped me a lot. It took a lot of burden off of me. She started doing the schedule for a little time being, so I had a little break from that. That was nice. That was really nice. I could talk about her forever, but that's not what this is about. Okay, so anyways, like this is boring. I'm sorry. Oh, before that, before she had stepped up, there was a period of time where I think it was the end of June or May. What's before June? January, February, March, April, May, June. May is before June. That doesn't sound right. Okay, well, I guess the end of May was when the new company like officially took over, and our liquor license did not transfer over. Oh my god, I'm so sorry for burping so much. It's the Dr. Pepper, I promise. Anyway, so our liquor license, it didn't transfer over, and so we didn't have a liquor license, and we had to just pretty much get rid of all the liquor we had, or even signs that like even hinted that we even sold liquor. Everything had to be gone that day, and I was the manager on duty that day, so I had to you know, like get rid of all the liquor. And it was just very sad, a very sad day, okay? We had no like warning of this, and we didn't know how long it was gonna last, but they told us that it could be anywhere up to 3 months. So a Mexican restaurant with no liquor for 3 months is detrimental to business, okay? Let's just say that, because it's not, there's not many people going to a Mexican restaurant who are just going for the guacamole or whatever. There's other places you can go there for that, you know, like Chipotle or something, you know. People go to Mexican restaurants because they want margaritas, okay? Let's just be honest. Let's just be honest. So that was a very dark period in time for our restaurant and the business, I think, personally. We were telling people at the door, and people were walking right next door to Chili's. Let's just be honest, that's where they all went. They all went to Chili's because we didn't have alcohol for a month. It actually went on for a month. So I guess on the bright side, it wasn't 3 months, but unfortunately, I think that was very damaging to our store in general, because people just didn't know when we were going to get it back. We didn't know when we were going to get it back. A lot of people probably thought we were never going to get it back, or, you know, all it takes is like a week or 2 weeks for somebody to find a new restaurant that they love, you know. So we gave them a whole month to go look for a new restaurant to go to, okay? Like, and that was a very sad, dark time, because, you know, we had just hired a whole bunch of new people, okay? So the majority of our staff, maybe like 90% of our staff, was just new hires. They worked there for not even a month, maybe, I don't know, until this happened. So, you know, we still had to schedule the same amount of people like every day, and so nobody was making money. I'm grateful that I was managing the whole time, but at the same time, like, I'm a very empathetic person. I was a bartender for 9 years. Like, you know, I could feel the pain of not making money, going to work, and, you know, it's just, it was sad. I didn't like seeing that. I didn't like seeing no business. I don't like it. I just, you know, I thrive in a very busy restaurant. That's just how I go, you know, no matter what role I'm playing. I like busyness. I don't know. I don't like doing nothing myself. There's a whole lot of nothing going on, okay? But we tried to keep the morale up. At least I did. I don't know. I feel like I'm still employed there, you know. I can talk about whatever I want, to be completely honest, but I still feel a little like there's confidential things that I probably shouldn't talk about, like giving people free meals during this time or whatever. Actually, I was allowed to do that. I was they told me I was, okay? So yeah, so that was a dark time. And then I think we got it back in July, but like May, June, like that whole month, June, is like normally a pretty busy month because it's like graduation month and whatever. So it was kind of sad to experience no business that month, okay? But you know what? This was still when me and the other manager were the only managers, and let me just say, I am very proud of myself for retaining an entire staff during that, okay? So if anyone's hiring for a front of house manager, I can retain an entire staff through entire period of them not making money, okay? So that's my accomplishment. Wait, when did our other manager come? I don't remember when he came, to be honest. I think he probably came around at that same time period. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I don't know. That helped out a little bit, I guess. It could have helped out a little more, but it whatever. So I guess like at this point in time, we started actually training people. People were actually being trained properly. So we were almost at a point where we had like a very solid staff, and then we finally got a GM, which we're not going to talk about that either, because, you know, just not going to talk about that. Then we finally got a GM, and then like there was a lot of structure finally, and so we had a good team, we had structure, and finally we were getting to a good place. Our team started like to really bond with each other. I don't know, like everyone just like started to become friends. Like I think that might have happened like towards, well, let me just say, but before that whole thing, I officially became an assistant manager in around October. And it didn't feel much different from shift supervising, just because like I just feel like I went through like things that most managers don't go through that fast and that quickly into their managing careers or whatever you want to call it. So I feel like I have the experience of somebody that's been working as a manager for a very long time, for just doing it for a couple of months at that point. So I felt pretty confident by the time I actually became an assistant manager. The only thing that was kind of different, I guess, is that I had to work longer hours and more hours. So I was there for, like, it felt like I was there all the time, okay? Like, I was doing more than I think I should have been doing. Like, I felt like I was there like 12 hours a day, 5 days a week, 5 days a week. I'm not even kidding. Like, maybe not every day I was there 12 hours, but I was at least 10 hours a day for 5 days a week at the beginning of all this. There's a lot of other things I want to talk about, but that I'm not going to, but let's just say that it involves, like, I'm gonna edit that out. I don't even want to mention that anymore. Yeah, so towards the end of the year, I guess, like, everybody just started really bonding, and like, it just became like, it felt like a really structured, we were going places, okay? We were just on the rise, and like, I just really had a lot of belief in the staff and everything. Like, the management team was coming together. Everything was good. And then something happened to me in my personal life that would take an entire hour to probably explain. But let's just say that I was going through something medically that really really fucked me up, okay? It really fucked me up. I had a skin infection, okay? And without giving too much details or talking too much about that, I had to be out for like weeks at a time, and it just like really like mentally drained me. It really mentally like fucked me up. Like, I was just not in a very good place in my life. There's so much other things that happened in my personal life like throughout the year that I want to talk about, but I feel like this video is just gonna be about my job, okay? Because like there are just so many things that happened to me that I want to talk about, and we're gonna save that for another day, okay, guys? Okay, so I'm gonna talk about that thing that happened to me medically in a different video. Let's just say that I took antibiotics a lot, and we all know how I feel about antibiotics, and I don't like them, okay? They really do a lot of emotional damage on me. I don't know why. I don't know if that happens to anybody else, but I don't feel sane or in the right mind state. And I think that's how this channel was birthed, okay? Was me being on antibiotics. So that's how this all began, because I was feeling like I was going through some sort of crisis, and I'm pretty sure that was related to the antibiotics somehow, because that was like the last time I took them was when I started this channel. And then I took them again at the end of this year, or at the end of last year, I took the antibiotics again at the end of 2025, and I was not mentally sane whatsoever, okay? I rang in the new year feeling really low mentally because of all that. And not to mention the amount of stress that I was under, taking on that many hours, I guess. I don't know. So yeah, I was in and out of the hospital quite a lot, and we're not going to talk about that because I have not paid the medical bills for that yet, okay? So without getting too much into my personal life, at the beginning of the year this year, I did start antidepressants. So I'm on antidepressants again. I have not been on them in a very long time. I probably should have been taking them a while ago, but I just didn't really like the way that they made me feel. I don't know. It's like they take away the sadness, but they also take away like everything. Like, you don't really feel much, which I don't really like that too much. I like being unhinged. I don't know. It makes me feel more creative and stuff, but I just feel so like blah all the time. So I'm probably not going to do them for much longer, but I really needed them to get through what I was going through in the beginning of the year. I really just needed them, and I don't know if I would have been able to cope with anything I went through without them. So if you feel like you need antidepressants, but you don't want to lose your personality, you have to outweigh the pros and cons. Like, losing your personality, but not having a mental breakdown might be better for sometimes, and you can always get off them and have your personality back when you feel better, you know? So that's kind of where I'm at now. I'm kind of at a point where I feel like I don't really need them anymore. So maybe I'll quit cold turkey today. So follow my journey, quitting Lexapro, cold turkey, starting today. Actually, I forgot to take them yesterday, so maybe starting yesterday. But yeah, so they helped me get through that. And so that brings, skipping over a whole bunch of stuff because I feel like this was a very boring story. That brings us to today. And today I am unemployed, like I said before, and we're going to get into that now without going too much into it because I'm already like 40 minutes into this. I am unemployed currently because my job officially closed. I knew it. I knew this was going to happen. I predicted this in the last video. But I'm surprised we made it through an entire year. And I don't know why we made it through an entire year because there were so many times throughout the year where we should have shut down. Like, for example, the alcohol thing. Like, why did they make us go through that? I think my question is, like, how long did they know we were gonna, like, that we were not gonna be open? Because, like, they made it sound like we were good, or like that, you know, they were gonna bring all these new changes to our menu, blah blah blah, all these new standards we were trying to conform to, and blah 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 blah, just to shut us down. How could they do that to us? You know, we just finally had a really solid staff. Everybody was connecting, and like it was just, we were, you know, they were saying they were gonna have this new menu, and then like we're gonna bring more business, blah blah blah, and we, like, it felt like we got to like the finish line, and then they were just like, we're gonna shut this store down right before we cross the finish line. Like, they should at least let us like go through the new menu rollout or whatever, because we're gonna have like this whole new big extravagant like menu rollout that was supposed to bring more business, and we're gonna have like, you know, really like high quality food and everything, and then they just shut us down right before we were able to do that, you know? Like, it kind of sucks a lot because like it's like we built up this thing, you know, like we were at rock bottom and we built it up to a good place, and then they just took it away like right at the end. Like, it's so sad that they made us go through all of that for nothing. I don't know, it just sucks, you know, and I just feel so bad for everybody like that like lost their job. I mean, for me personally, I don't know, I'll figure it out. I'll always see the positives, like, in things, like maybe this was meant to happen for a better opportunity for me, you know, like I have still the same mentality I did last year about it all. And I kind of am kind of thankful in a way that we did stay open this entire year, because I feel like everything that I went through throughout this whole thing, like throughout the year, it really, I feel like it really like taught me a lot about myself, if that makes any sense. I feel like I learned like more about myself than anything this past year. I guess like it's not that I wasn't confident in managing, but I guess being thrust into it the way I did, and being able to handle anything that was thrown at me, and like all these changes, and like, you know, being able to just, I don't know, connect with people the way I did. I don't know, like I just feel like I learned a lot about myself. Like I didn't know I had some of those traits in me that I discovered about myself. Which is good, because I feel like I can take those traits with me no matter where I go, or no matter what I do. Like, I feel like I could do anything after what I went through last year, to be honest, and that's the positive that I feel like came out of all of this, to be honest. I just feel like I feel like a superhero. Like, I am a superhero, okay, guys? Like, as unhinged as I am most of the time, I think that that's like my superpower in a way. Because like, I don't know, like I feel like I'm just so open and honest about everything that, like, you know, people respect that, as much as you want to like hide things from people or whatever, or should hide them or whatever. Being open and honest like really is just, it gains so much respect from people, and then like people will just be willing to, you know, want to do things because they feel respected by you. You don't have to like, you know, demand people to do things for them to do their job. You can just respect them, and then they will do their job, you know? Like, I feel like there's not enough of that in management, you know? from what I've seen. There's a lot of demanding, and then people just get fed up. Nobody wants to be demanded to do things all day, every day, like they're in jail or something. Like, you know, just respect people, listen to them, and like, you know, connect. And then when you need them to do something for you, or when you need them to do their job, they'll do it because they respect you back, because you respected them. Okay, I feel like even if you're not a manager, just that quality in general, it's a good quality to have and for life. Okay, and I guess like if you're gonna take anything out of that, then anything out of any of this, then yeah, just be respectful to everybody. Okay, it doesn't matter who they are. And then once you get to know them, and if they're a piece of shit, then like, I feel like this video has been going on for way too long, but it's very nice to see you guys again. I miss you. I hope that we can continue this journey, unless I get another job sometime soon, but I'm not really looking. Unless people are looking for me, I'm not looking yet, okay? I'm waiting for that unemployment to hit first. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like I missed a lot, but there's just so much. I'm just gonna make a couple different videos about my life this past year, because you guys missed out on too much, okay? You missed out on way too much. I'm back. I hope you're excited. I'm excited to be me again. I didn't even talk about the story about how we found out about my job closing. You know what? We're gonna talk about that another time. Maybe we'll continue with that next time. I guess if there's next time. There is a next time, I promise. And it's not going to be next year from now, I hope. I also do want to talk about, I'll give you an update on my New Year's resolutions from 2025 and whether or not I accomplished any of them. Stay tuned for that. Get hyped, because I'm going to be filming a lot. Maybe I'll film the video right after this and change my shirt so that you have no idea that I filmed it on the same day. Stay tuned for the Unhinged o'clock unemployed chronicles or whatever. I don't know what we're gonna call this. Maybe we'll call it that. Okay, I've had enough of this, and I hope that you haven't, but I've had enough of it. Okay, so nice to see you guys again. Sorry for not filming for a year, but I'm back. I hope you have a good night. Ow, I think I just like, ow. I just pulled a tendon in my neck. All right, good night, guys.